try and collect those assets. Cool. Hi, good morning everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Familiar faces, which is good. It's quite comforting actually. Speak to people that I already know. So my name is Mark Stowe, and I'm going to share with you parts of my story. And along that journey, I've picked up a few things, a few experiences, a few lessons that enable me to go from being a window cleaner to more than a window cleaner. See, I help people during the day with their panes of glass. And overnight, I'm a bit like Batman. Overnight, I help people with their life and business pains based on the lessons and experiences I've learned over the years. So if we just jump straight in with the most obvious question, what is it that we want? What is it we desire? What's our ambitions? What's our dreams? And quite often, we don't actually know. Come on my camera, Steve.
Just you were off the camera, that was all. So
Thank you very much. Team. So yeah, if I went back to when I was 17 years old, to be honest, I didn't know what I wanted. If someone would have said to me, if Steve would have said to me, 17 years old, what do you want, Mark? I would have said, I want you to get out of my face. I'm sure we're all like that.
it's not changed, does it?
Just me? Okay. So at 17 years old, I really didn't have an idea of what I wanted, but I knew what I didn't want. And one of the things I started to establish what I didn't want was to live by these 3 rules that my dad had installed from a very young age. Turns out that I found out recently that there was only 2 rules, and the 3rd one was like an advisory. It was like almost like a caution. Like, that's, no, don't worry about that one, but just make sure you stick to these 2. You'll find out what happened shortly. So, the rules were quite simple. Stay in education, which would be like school, then on to college, find a job, or leave. So I did the school thing. I didn't really like it. I did everything I could to stay out of it. I became very good at forging my dad's signature sick notes. I could probably still do it now actually, because I'm well tuned. So yeah, I failed at school. Obviously that typically happens when you're not interested and you don't turn up enough. So then I went into college to reset my GCSEs, and I soon found out that I didn't want to be there either. So I dropped out of college at 17. I spent roughly the next year trying option number 2, which was work. So option number 1, education, weren't working. No way. So option number 2 was work, going to work, pay my house keep, pay my way. Which was fine for a bit, and I dabbled in a few dead-end jobs, to be fair, factories, that sort of thing. And it really sucked. It wasn't really inspiring. So I had this money, I paid my house keep, and then I took the rest of it. I had no, I didn't know what I wanted, didn't know what I wanted the money for, so I was effectively going to work to pay my way. I got a bit fed up with that, so I thought, I know it's a really good idea. I'm going to go to work just to pay my house keep, and then I'd have the rest of the week off. I thought it was a really good idea. So I tried it. So normally I'd pay my dad on like a Friday evening. This particular week I paid him on Wednesday. He's thinking I'm being really like up on my bills, but I wasn't. Thursday morning I'm still in bed. So because I had to commute further than my dad, I used to leave before my dad. So to his surprise, I'm still in bed Thursday morning. What do you do, Mark? You're supposed to be at work. Dad, I've paid my house keep, therefore can't say anything. I'm free. Doesn't work like that, Mark. What do you mean, Dad? You have to go to work every day to keep your job. And that really got my attention. I was like, whoa, hang on a minute. Right, okay, let me just figure this out. So I spent all these years going to school I didn't want to do, to leave school, to now got to go and get a job every day, beyond what I need to go to, but I have to go every day just to keep my job. This sucks. This idea, this picture of life really sucks. But he was right though, because if you don't turn up to work, you get a sack. I got sacked quite a lot, funny enough. So yeah, I do a few days work, pay my dad's house keep, phone in sick, get sacked, find another job, and that was just a cycle until one day. So I'm now 18, so I had about a year of that kind of working a bit, getting sacked a bit, working a bit. So I'm 18 now, I rang up, complained about backache or something like that. I won't get into that. I was like, Mark, thank you very much, don't come back. Oh, I've got to go through this rigmarole again. got a bit of paper. Dad, by the way, I'm from Essex, a little place called Southminster, which is the end of the train line that way. I literally the last stop. It's great if you fall asleep on the train. You fall asleep and you wake up like, oh, okay, it's not stopped. You're on. So I write a little note, Dad, gone to London. And that was it. I left home. 18 years old, because of always in and out of jobs, I had virtually no money, had no sort of experience, had nothing. I was literally just left with what I had in my pocket was probably about a £5 and a little bag of clothes. It's quite funny that I'm now speaking here because I spent untold weeks walking the streets of Romford, into Gideon Park and Harold Hill trying to get a job, which I didn't get directly. But this is the amazing thing that what happened. So this was when I was living at home, just an illustration of course, of all the things that I didn't want in my life, okay? The second I made that decision to go, start again, completely blank bit of paper, which means I can put whatever I want there. I am totally, totally free. So my advice there is if you don't know exactly what you do want, you can always start what you don't want. You can just build on from there. I want to talk to you about loving what you do. It's kind of like a buzz sort of thing, and for people that have heard me speak before, at this point I would tell you that it's not actually that important to love what you do, but it's important to love what you get from what you do, your lifestyle, etc., etc. But you know what? I was wrong. I was actually wrong. Yeah? So you ever admitted I was wrong there, Steve? And I had to actually go to work on myself. What I didn't realise at the time, and the other talks that I've done, is that the relationship I had with my business was starting to stagnate. I didn't appreciate the business. It's like having a relationship with a partner. If you start to take them for granted, they're always going to be there, and you're not focusing on the good bits, you're going to eventually break up. So I had to really go to work. So what I did was, took a few moments out, window cleaning, what's not to love? So I listed all these little things of what it is about window cleaning that I really enjoyed. And literally, like that, the spark came back into the relationship with my business, the primary business. That's the second. So, okay, it's not important to, that's not the right word. It's quite important to love what you do, but just bear in mind, on that journey, you'll have to do a lot of things that you won't necessarily love. I mean, I haven't written on here that I love breaking the ice on my bucket, because that's not the bit I love. I'll be honest with you. When it gets cold, I don't particularly love it. You've got to scrape the ice off the inside of the glass. It's not fun, but you know, it's worse things. So that's love what you do. The other thing is, I'm going to pick on you here, Gemma, is, I'm not saying that, is managing the expectations of your clients. I'm thinking, haven't you?
I love it.
So many people, I thought this was just a new business thing, whereas I'm not picking on you, I'm just going to use you as an example, okay? Not in a bad way. So many businesses and small business owners, sole traders, they over-exaggerate what they can do. They promise too much, and then they can't actually deliver. All it does is ruin your reputation. I thought that was a new business thing. But I've been around now for over 12 years, and I've seen new businesses do this, established businesses do this, big business, and also small. And it's very, very important. Take window cleaning, for example. I know many guys that will say to you that the windows will be perfect every time, or your money back. I'll ask you a question. So I cleaned your windows earlier this year. When I finished, did you go around and check every window thoroughly? No.
Was I meant to?
It wasn't meant to.
Okay.
But if I'd have said to you, if you find, like, Gemma, the windows are clean, they're perfect, absolutely perfect, and if you find one sort of default, any window, get your money back. Would you have looked?
We're not actually.
Okay, you're a bad example.
Sorry. I trusted you. Sorry.
But do you know what? Most
If
people.
you've got the German's genes, you definitely would go and check.
But okay, it didn't work. I'm not picking on you again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But quite often you would have people that would look, rather than just appreciating the job that's happened, they'd be more concerned with trying to find a defect in your job to get that sort of the money back. I think it was Domino's Pizza said they'll deliver within 40 minutes or 30 minutes, otherwise you get free pizza. So all of a sudden your focus is on the time rather than just the fact, your pizza's coming. Like 37, 38, 39, come on. Oh, it's alright, I wasn't getting free pizza. It's just these levels of expectations that you're setting on your clients based on telling them what you are and aren't going to do. A fine example of this is, or at least managing expectations, but also maintaining the standard. So setting a standard that you continuously can maintain. Don't try and oversell one day and then the next day cut the service in half. So I went to a new barber's opened up near me probably a couple of years ago now. It was a nice little place, like a Turkish type barber's. It looked pretty cool, so I thought I'd give it a go. And I had drinks and it was a real nice place. The haircut, there's the reason why I got a hat on. The haircut was average at best, to be honest with you. It wasn't anything special. But the service, I come out of there feeling a little bit special. A little sort of massage, and you had the hot towel, and everything was just great. You come out of there, I'm not even worried about my haircut now. I just come out feeling really great and pampered. So obviously, when I think about my haircut again, I'm like, oh, I'm looking forward to all that kind of extra service. It's not so much about the haircut now, it's about the pampering. So I've gone back thinking, I have all this lovely pamper and the drink, and yeah, great. Done. What? Where's it all gone? So now I've just left with no drink, no pampering, and just some below par haircut. Do you think I went back? No. So just be aware of that, manage your expectations and setting standards that you can maintain all the time. Because people will disappear if you don't keep it up. There's nothing worse than having something taken away from you. I mean, if you had just done one thing, like perhaps the drink, and kept that going for every visit, that probably wouldn't be enough. When you go from everything to nothing, it's a bit of a culture shock, especially when the main reason you went was for a haircut and you got a rubbish haircut. So managing those expectations are quite important. The next one is quite close to my heart. It's very important to me. It's often sold as a course that you can work 4 hours a week on your laptop on a beach and earn $100,000 a week, all that kind of stuff. A work-life balance is very, very important to me, very important to me. And most of my decisions are based around keeping that balance. Obviously, everyone here has got their own idea of what work-life balance means to them. And it's not wrong or right, it's just your preference of what it looks like. For me, it sounds very cliche, but is to have a good amount of everything. So growing up, it was actually just myself and my dad. My mum disappeared when I was only 2 years old. But literally just me and my dad. My sort of primary school years, didn't really have a job, was unemployed quite a lot, but he was always about. So it was great fun. You come home from school and I've got someone to play football with, someone to play board games with. Some of you are too young, but a little Atari. Play Atari with. It was so much fun. You're too young, don't worry. Some people remember, yeah? Oh, by the way, this was in the times of PlayStation. I'm still on the bloody Atari. But I'm having a great time, So then as I get older, my dad then gets a job, which meant that from the time he left in the morning to the time he got home was 11 and a half hours. Boy, Monday to Friday and half day Saturday. Just fine, because we've got some money now, we've got a car now, which is great, and we've got Sky TV, which is a nice little perk, and we've got a PlayStation now, and the PC, all these little perks start to appear in, but I've got no one to enjoy them with. I'm playing PlayStation on my own, I'm watching Sky TV on my own. It kind of sucked, if I'm honest with you. So that was shown to me quite earlier on that when I get to that stage of having a family, I want to be able to provide a sense of standard of living for my family. But I also want to be there to enjoy it. I don't mean to come across showy off or anything, but awesome, thank you. We have Sky TV, but I would sit at home, it could be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm with my son just the other day. Put the Sky Store on, yeah, watch Incredibles 2. Come home after school, or he's home after school, sometimes I'm home before him, most of the times I am. It's like, Dad, do you want to go on the PlayStation? Obviously, the way modern games are, you don't tend to sit in the same room anymore. So he's got his PlayStation, I've got mine. And we're literally in the same house, we're playing online together. It's absolutely nuts. But for me, that is real life balance. To be able to have these things, but also bloody enjoy them. Super, super important to me. Work-life balance isn't something you necessarily buy in a course or you copy from someone else. It's the decisions that you make, and it does come from an element of sacrifice. Because just recently I made quite a bold, maybe stupid, won't know to long term, but for me it's the right decision, that I actually reduced those working hours to create more of that work-life balance. So I was getting pretty fed up, and you're quite fortunate that I'm here actually. So I don't actually have an alarm clock anymore. I don't have an alarm clock. So therefore, before the alarm would go off, I'll get up, go to work, I'll be at work, and I know that my wife just got up and my son's just got up, and I'm at freaking work. I didn't like it. So I made the decision that actually, do you know what, any jobs, I start at 8:30 now. Some people are still early, but I start at 8:30. So any job that fell in to before that was cut, just instantly dropped. I just sent them all texts or emails, whichever form of communication it was. It cost me thousands of pounds over the course of a year making that one decision. But what I gained from that, you know what, no amount of money could ever replace. And on the flip side, that was the beginning of my day, no alarm. The end of my day, I wanted to be home before Bracken, my son, now 12 years old, is home from school. So I've got a little operating window of whilst he's at school, I'm going to get as much work done as I can, to then be at home to enjoy this work-life balance that I'm trying to create. So it is possible, you just have to make those decisions.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, I'm going to put the end on this, okay? Quite often you would hear people say, like, we talked about goals earlier. You hear successful people, really successful people, who've got like the wealth and the business and everything else, say have big goals. I don't know about you, but I've sat in the audience before and thought, you know what, it's alright for you. You got your big goals, it's alright for you to say that. And sometimes it's hard to sort of build that rapport with them based on what they've said. But you know what? A little bit of advice from someone that set mediocre goals and achieved them. Try and set bigger goals. Because what happens is, if you hit your goal too early, I mean, I'm 33 and I achieved everything I wanted to quite a while ago. It's great, you're like, yeah, I achieved my goal. What, 40 years of this? 50 if I'm lucky? It's going to get boring after a while. And what happened was, I found myself, starting to shrink. My creativity started to shrink. My work ethic, even though it wasn't fantastic anyway, but it was reducing even more. Just my passion, my desire, everything that was alive in me was starting to shrink. Even who I was as a husband and a father was all starting to close in because I'd achieved my goal. I know that sounds quite odd, but just bear that in mind when you're setting your goals. Set bigger ones. And yes, I have set bigger goals now. So, Mark Stone, Modern Window Cleaner, thank you for your ears.
Amazing.
Any questions?
Very good. Very good, Mark. Have you got any questions for Mark?
No? No
So,
questions?
I know I have.
Go on.
So, will you ever give up window cleaning?
I don't think so.
Because.
I actually quite enjoy it.
Oh.
And to be honest, that gives me, ironically, when I started the coaching sort of side of my business, I tried to separate the two. But it's that, and all the people I speak to, and all the experiences from running that business. I'm not your typical window cleaner. Steve would know, and Jen would know as well. It actually fuels this. That gives me all the content, gives me the information, and the experience. So that would probably always be there. And whereas some window cleaners, they work really hard and work themselves into the ground, so they have to give up later in life. You probably did realise from 8 till 3 is not a long day. So I tend to go at a nice pace. I could probably do it till the day I die, to be fair. So I think the answer is no.
Yeah, I can see the two would
Yeah.
connect. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Really good, Mark.
Thank you very much.